my feeling is that moment in Tommy Boy when the car gets all wrecked and Chris Farley goes, "That was awesome."
Today I just started yelling. Like, I couldn't stop yelling. I mean, I was blanking ahead, kind of, blacked out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's the GOAT. I always say that on the sideline, man. He's amazing, man. Every time we're on the sideline, we're watching, we're like, oh, that's crazy. So that's our guy. That's my guy, for sure.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus Podcast, presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates, I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We appreciate it. We're going to break down this Bills' huge win over the Chiefs, 30-21 today, as the Bills still in play for the 1 seed. They knocked off the undefeated Kansas City team coming into Orchard Park. Who stood out? Obviously, we're going to talk about Josh Allen, some things to clean up, and the fact that the Bills are still in play for the 1 seed. We also want to remind everyone, check out our audio podcast available on Apple Podcasts. And Mike, there's a pretty cool thing about that too.
How about top 10 Apple
Top
Podcast?
10.
Unreal.
I mean, this is up there with
This is our Chiefs win.
national pods. All of a sudden, I look, you guys look, someone sends a message. Number 9 out of 10 for Apple Podcasts for this past
For
week.
sports.
Spectacular.
Mom, we made it.
Yeah.
We did it. We
Okay.
did it.
All right, so big win for us, big win for the Chiefs, Dan. And it starts...
For the Chiefs?
The Chiefs. Oh, my God, sorry. The Bills. Big win for the Bills. Big win over the Chiefs.
Yes.
It's been a long day. But let's start 4th and 2, and Josh Allen being Josh Allen.
Joshua Patrick Allen.
Bleepin' Allen.
Just doing unbelievable things. In that entire drive, we've talked about it before, that the Bills have had Chiefsy moments, finding ways to win. The last 2 drives, gutty, championship caliber, finding ways to win. It wasn't necessarily pretty throughout this game. We can get to that. But with the game on the line, Sean McDermott being aggressive, up 2, 4th and 2, keeping the offense on the field. And it's pretty easy to just say, hey, 17, go be you.
I loved your tweet of Josh Allen when you say the Bills' Super Bowl window is closed. And it's that play of him running in for that touchdown. Because, Mike, I think for this team, and you're right, Sean McDermott keeping the offense out on the field, and you just see Josh Allen put his head down and start to run, and this place was going nuts.
After it's over, and it's spectacular because it's Josh Allen and what he does, and we'll hear from some of his teammates, but you think to yourself, look at the spot they were in. It's 4th and 2. The run game was awful today.
Awful.
Awful offensively, running the football. You could kick a field goal to go up by 5. Okay, here's Sean McDermott talking about his mindset when he put the ball in the hands of 17.
Just felt, we mapped it out during the week and felt strongly that that was the right decision. I don't want to be resulting, if you will, but would have stood by it if it didn't work out. Just felt like, there's been too many games, as you guys know, where Andy and Patrick have come back and you kick a field goal and they go score a touchdown, or it's overtime, just in different games where they've been and they get the ball first and the game's, so they're just way too good to not go for it right there. And, so every situation's a little bit different, but felt confident.
Yeah, he's been burned by this before, as he said. Patrick and Andy have come back on him a few times. But even take that play. I mean, that really wasn't happening much in this game. Josh ran a few times, made a few plays, but that was special. I don't know. You're on the field. Does the place get any louder than it did on that? It was one of the great plays that has ever taken place in this building, short of clinching the first Super Bowls and all those things. I'm talking about regular season game in that moment. Josh Allen on a 4th and 2 against Patrick Mahomes takes it to the house. Incredible display of athleticism and guts and will and everything that goes with it.
And I think just how tense of a moment it kind of was going into that. You look around in the crowd, and obviously everyone's locked in. All right, 4th and 2, they're going to go for it. This is a pivotal point in the game. And you hear, or you see Josh Allen start to go. You start to hear the cheers. He trucks his way into the end zone. The team's going nuts. The place is going nuts. Quentin Morris is kinging him, crowning him. It was, and then you see Josh afterwards flexing. Like, it was just looking around in that moment. It was so awesome to see because just the pure excitement and just another iconic Josh Allen moment.
Yeah, it's an MVP moment.
Yeah.
Like national stage, MVP moment, game on the line in the sense of you don't get it. All Patrick Mahomes has to do with 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning is go down the field for a field goal.
Yeah.
And then Josh, it's the visual of Josh getting up, the jersey falling off his shoulder pad. It's all of that encompassed into the rivalry, and for as much as they have played down that this was just a Week 11 game and all of those things, Josh to rise up in that biggest moment. And listen, I think there are problems, and Joe Brady didn't call his best game. And that was just one of those moments where Josh Allen, for an offensive coordinator, is a get-out-of-jail-free card. It is a go be you, go be the unicorn, the alien that you are. And it was real and it was spectacular.
It was. Are you not entertained? Like it was just such an awesome moment to see. And he had some moments throughout that drive. I think we also need to talk about Khalil Shakir. Some of those big moments, some of those third downs, and we've talked so much about him. Football player, tough. Some of the things that he is able to do, I sit back and I'm like, we all underestimated him.
I would tell you this. Sometimes, as we all know, everybody looks to stats. A lot of people look to stats.
Yeah.
That's a 10-yard catch that he makes over the middle. He got drilled. He hits the ground, holds on to the football. Massive play. It is funny. It's almost like when anything's going wrong, just find Khalil somewhere.
Yeah.
He's going to make it better.
Yeah.
And he does. And he's tough, and he hangs in there, and they needed it. Everything was a little disjointed in this game, but when they needed it the second half, they made 2 big drives.
You know, Booger from ESPN talks about stats are like bikinis. They show you some things, but not everything. And I think
such a good line.
But that'll go down in the stat book as a 10-yard catch.
Right.
That could be the play that gets the Bills possibly the 1 seed, and you can look back to this drive. And if, there's moments in the game where you get, like I think about Josh hurdling defenders and getting fired up. But for Khalil to make that catch, and then they cut to Josh, and he gives that raw emotion of like, that was a big play.
Huge.
We've got something going now. Like, you're in between that spot there on the field before that obviously led up to the 4th down run. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, and then also having Curtis Samuel,
Yeah.
someone we've talked about of like, oh, I don't know. Sometimes when Curtis Samuel gets involved, things don't go well. But for him, it's Week 11, and he finally gets his first touchdown.
Well, Josh after the game, casual Josh, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, when he has these moments, he always takes it down.
Yes.
He always talks up his teammates.
He amplifies them.
Yes.
Yes.
But other players around him are constantly in shock. I went in the locker room and got to talk to some of his teammates, and they were probably a lot like you when you saw Josh Allen on that final play. What was your view on the touchdown run by Josh?
Shoot, I can't wait to see the replay. As soon as y'all leave me alone, I'm going to go on my phone, look at X or go on Twitter, or right, X is Twitter, but Instagram, and see what's going on. But all I seen was Josh bouncing off of tackles, and then he fell into the end zone. So Josh is crazy, man.
I turn around and Josh is fighting off a defensive lineman. Then he's up to the next level and he's making 3 guys miss, scoring a touchdown. As soon as I saw him get past the line of scrimmage, I kind of knew he was scoring. And even though there's a linebacker and 2 DBs right in front of him, I've seen it 100 times from him. In the most important situations, he seems to do that all the time, and it's incredible to watch.
Does it ever get old?
I mean, it probably is close to 100. He's played over 100 games now. It seems like he does that every game. So it still never gets old. It's weird. You get to the point where you kind of expect it, and you're like, holy cow, why does this almost feel normal? And then you watch it again on film. You're like, this shouldn't be normal, but it is. And the whole crowd immediately starts chanting MVP. It's really fun. He's incredible, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's the GOAT. I always say that on the sideline, man. He's amazing, man. Every time we're on the sideline, we're watching, we're like, oh, that's crazy. So, but he does an amazing job. Everybody on the sideline was ready. We all had the utmost confidence in each other. We have the utmost confidence in the offense. They have the utmost confidence in us. So we kind of love it. It's like we all kind of thinking the same thing on the sideline. Like, go for it. Let Josh do his thing. Let the offense do their thing. And whatever happens, we'll live with it and we'll make it right.
What was your perspective, obviously, from the sidelines of seeing that run by Josh?
Oh, You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, he juked the guy, spin off one, still forming up. It's like, oh man, like that's crazy. You know, that's our guy. You know, that's my guy for sure.
When he took off today, I just started yelling. Like, I couldn't stop yelling. I mean, I was blanking ahead, kind of, blacked out a little bit. Man, he's a dog. He's a great leader, great dude. Love the dude.
Dorian Williams is a great soundbite, as always, and he just goes, he's the GOAT, he's our quarterback, he's my quarterback. Was just that raw emotion that you get to see. Deion Dawkins added too, that like what Josh is doing in this world is special. Like in this football world, like people aren't talking about it enough, how special he is.
It's only a few players in this entire league where the great players, all these guys, you're in the NFL, you're a great athlete and a great player. Talk about a teammate or another player, the way they talk about Josh. Like, he amazes them, but they also expect it. It's the strangest thing. Like, he does these things.
It's an interesting dynamic.
It
when
really
you think
is,
about
because
it,
it's like, I see these crazy plays. Like, well, you just heard, like Dawson Knox. Like, yeah, I looked and I figured all these guys are there, but, Josh is going to get in the end zone because he does it. And he comes through in those moments. And you said it, Dan. I think that should get hyped up a little bit. Lamar had a loss, who has been really good this year. MVP moment. Like you say, used to be the Heisman moment.
It's the Heisman moment.
That is in the big, big moment, and he did it the way he did it too. So when you were describing that, I was like, okay, first down. Like in my mind, probably like you, sitting there, he got the first, and he's like, nah, I want a little bit more.
And it's a broken play.
Yeah.
Like the Chiefs on the Josh's interception, the Chiefs... Somebody texted me, said it was a perfect defense called by Spags. Like he didn't have anything. There was obviously a miscommunication with Knox, but Knox didn't seem to be the main read. Like other things were taken away. On that 4th and 2, game on the line for most of it, you can say that. Nothing was there. Like they had a play called, the Chiefs covered it up, and Josh just goes into the phone booth, puts on his Superman cape, and says, guys, I got this.
He also knew when they go into man like that, they're going to have great coverage, but he has an opportunity to take off. That is what is there. And I look at it and go, there's a sense of, I don't know if comfort is the right word, confidence.
Yeah.
When Josh Allen, I'm not talking about a called run, I'm talking about that play.
Yeah.
Where he looks and goes, and in his mind, he knows that play is out there.
100%.
So it's an all-timer. It's funny when they're doing the broadcast on CBS, Jim Nantz called it the play of the year. As he's going in the end zone. Great call, Jim.
Yeah.
He's a Buffalo Plus subscriber, too.
I do want to say the crowd was chanting MVP.
Yep.
And so that play happens, all that stuff. Obviously, the Bills able to seal the win with the Terrell Bernard interception. But the thing that also stands out to me is right after that, Josh walking off the field, spots a kid in the crowd, gives him his hat, gives him his armband. And I know sometimes that stuff is like, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. To me, I'm like, Josh embodies the MVP on and off the field. He just holds himself and his teammates in such high regard. The fans, like, I know this is not X's and O's, but I just think that it's so special to watch what he does on the field and then how he conducts himself off of it, too.
2 things off of that. I remember being in Kansas City when it was the rain game that was delayed, and I remember tweeting out, great quarterback, even better person. Because he went and found a Bills fan in Arrowhead and gave him the ball. And it was just kind of one of those things. Also, to Mike, to your point, I know we cover the team. We try and be objective, all of those things. But it is nice to kind of give some little tidbits from the press box, things like that. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I say to Dan.
How long have you been covering this team?
37 years.
9 years.
It's
100 years.
Yes. I said that was, there's no cheering in the press box. That was as close to cheering. When I saw him go, just because I knew what it meant in the game, it also meant we could go downstairs and get ready to do the post game. But it just because you're sitting there watching it going, this is special. And I've said this to you before. This is why we want to be around this. It's not necessarily cheering when I say that.
Correct.
I just thought we're seeing greatness there.
Yes.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
There's greatness on the other side, and they're going to see that.
They were
guy
on
again.
this side.
Well, and that was part of it. We're kind of packing up our laptops as we're getting ready to go down from the press box, and you're kind of sitting there like, this doesn't happen. Like, Mahomes was on the other sideline, and we've seen that story too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So to see that, and we're packing up, and he runs to the end zone, and we go, all right, like, we were walking out. I go, ball game, and Mike's like, well, at least it's going to be an onside kick now. You kick this because we watched Bass kick the extra point.
Have we
Yes.
not?
I know,
seen the Chiefs.
But
do
again,
this?
I know. Well,
sitting next to Mike for a game is an experience, and then for him to kind of sit there and I go, we're not fans. None of us grew up being fans. We cover the team. We appreciate all of you being Bills fans that follow our content. And we talked about this before, but for Mike to look at me and he goes, that was the closest I've ever come to cheering in a press box. It was one of those moments
It
where
was
you
cool.
went,
Yeah.
man, that was special what we just saw.
It's right. We're able
I was
to
just
win.
going to say I gave Dan the full experience of it today.
Oh, I got the full experience.
No, but I mean, watching greatness is, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And against a team that obviously, and look, there's the playoffs, and we can talk about all that stuff, but at the same point, to be at home, to have such a domination of a play, for Josh to be able to do that, to have the reaction from the crowd, the MVP chants, all that stuff, knock off a previously undefeated team.
But Jenna,
special.
do you think this game was special? It was one of what?
I love what Von Miller said. I love it because he was talking about Sean McDermott, and we talked about all this week.
Let's just let Vaughn
Okay,
say
yeah.
it.
The speech from Coach McDermott was like, it's just another game, and 100 years from now, nobody's gonna remember. And we were like,
I love that. It's perfect because it's true. It's honest.
And Sean even did say, and then, it's great to see the guys celebrate. It's great that. I know what he's saying because the reality is they've beaten this team now 4 times in the regular season.
Yep.
And you know the other part of it, right?
Yeah.
The odds of them playing, I think, are very, very, very high.
Yeah. This was the intro.
Yes.
Deion Dawkins said after the game, whether it was a measuring stick and all of these things, Deion was very clear. It's great to get a win. It feels good to get a win. But he goes, let me tell you this isn't the Super Bowl. And he goes, we will see them again. And then he paused and goes, most likely. But he goes, it is great. And the question was asked, now it puts you in position again to get the 1 seed. And these are guys that are always, every single person, what did this game mean in the locker room? And they all say, 24-hour rule, we'll move on, things like that. But Deion for a split second went, yeah, we haven't really been in contention for the 1 seed in quite some time. And he goes, but we'll worry about that. We'll worry about that later. It is just to get to be 9-2 and, it's just win number 9 and all those things. But this was a game that the players tried to downplay while the national media and fans knew this was the game of the year. This was the national game of the week, and it lived up to the hype and then some.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some more players who we thought were special. Mike, Curtis Samuel. He showed up, had the touchdown today, his first touchdown with the Bills. And I said before, in Week 11, it's pretty unbelievable to think about that.
We talked about, it seems like when plays went to Curtis Samuel, they went the wrong way.
Yep.
Right? Something would go wrong. In this case, Josh getting hit, gets the ball away, it's behind him. He's open, great catch, pivots, gone, with some help from Mac Hollins to get free.
Yeah.
That was close. If you see the replay of that play, that's I think when it works for you, it's the rub route.
Yes.
When it's the other team, that's a pick.
Yes.
And he sort of, and you see it he sort of got him and then
He gives
pushed
him a
out.
little chicken wing action.
It absolutely could have been called, but it wasn't. I don't care. I mean, this happens. It happens both ways sometimes. But in that case, Curtis Samuel. Yeah, and I got to tell you, it is big to sort of wake him up a little bit in this offense because he can help this team.
I think he talked about, I didn't get frustrated. I tried to stay patient. How could you not get frustrated? So for him to kind of have the monkey off his back and be like, I can play, I can contribute, I can score touchdowns. I just think for him going forward, you're like, I can have a role in this offense.
That's what Sean McDermott talked about after the game, about getting his confidence up.
Yeah.
And reminding him, you're a great player. You're going to make plays for us. Curtis Samuel's a guy that got paid a lot of money to do all these things. And as I've said before, and Sean added to it too, again, because he likes comments and subscribes, he goes, he's been banged up this year. We're going to hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And again, but he said what stood out to me was that first drive. He had the catch on 3rd down. It was short. Makes the guy miss in the open field, picks up the 1st down. That's what Bills fans and what Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott and Joe Brady were all hoping for. That guy that can be shifty in space, tough to tackle. We saw that a little bit in Indianapolis and a whole lot more this week.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think Dawson Knox. We know Dalton Kincaid did not play. I think Dawson had a couple of nice catches as well today. And it's nice to see him kind of get going because earlier on the season, it felt like you were waiting for him to kind of push the pace and take that next step.
Last week he had that big 30-yard catch, Josh with the throw.
Did you hear about that? Did you hear what Sean said earlier this week? I know you guys wedding in bridal shower.
Yeah.
But Sean, they asked when Dalton was announced that he was out on Friday. Hey, it's really nice to have Dawson Knox to be a guy that can slide into that role, a guy that's played the role before. And he said after the Indianapolis game, Dawson went up to Sean and said, like, guys were like, great game, like, unbelievable catch. And Dawson's like, I've been doing this for a while, guys.
Yeah.
This ain't my first time making plays and things like that. So it is comforting to have that and great to see that Dawson Knox, who had, 7 touchdowns the one year, like, have those flashes come back.
Yeah.
He was involved in that weird 4th down play with he and
Miscommunication.
Josh.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah.
I need to see that again, honestly.
I think Josh thought something. He was in a little trouble. He probably thought he was going to bounce and go behind him.
Go behind him because the trajectory of the pass was...
And then it ended up going from bad to worse
Yeah.
because he ended up picking about 35 yards up on the interception. But that was bad. But, other guys like you mentioned, Amari Cooper.
That's my next guy I
Yeah.
want to talk about.
He said
I don't
that
know
catch
how
was-
he caught that first catch.
He said it was like a normal catch, is what he said after the game.
Well, it was coming right at us, and I was like, there's no way that he's going to be able to catch the ball.
Just one hand, late
Yeah.
hands.
Yes.
He said, Mike goes, that's what you're talking about, Dan, with late hands, as we've talked about with Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman at times.
That was part of the experience.
Yeah, it's an experience.
But then I had to
we should
correct-
auction that off
I had to correct
Oh my God, wait, that's a good idea.
so that I could sit on the other side.
I'm trying to make a point.
That's funny.
I had to correct my tweet and say late hand.
Hand. Yeah, just one.
With the
Yes.
cast or whatever that is
Yeah,
on his,
it
on
looked
his
like
wrist.
a cast.
But that was, I kind of wish they would have gone back to him a little bit more.
Yeah.
It was only the few times. We really never found him again after those 2 big catches that he made. But it's nice to have him back because he does open some stuff up. And you just mentioned it, Kincaid and no Keon playing in this one. And then
no
you're
Spencer-
playing without,
yeah.
you're right, Spencer Brown is like, but of course, the Chiefs got guys coming back too.
Shout out Ryan Vandemark. I'm not going to sit here and try and tell you that he was incredible and that I watched him on every single snap, but the fact that you weren't going, man, he's a turnstile. The fact that we weren't talking or mentioning Ryan Vandemark's name is a good thing for Ryan Vandemark.
Yep.
To step up in that spot, guys like Osiris Torrance almost did it the other. Remember Cyrus O'Torrance?
Yes.
He
Honestly,
went
we've said it so many times.
I don't know. He also had some really nice plays, one-on-one.
Whoa.
Oh, good
Catch, Dan. Outstanding. Catch of the day.
Wow.
It was our light.
And we're back.
Yes.
Great catch.
Great.
Credit to me.
Dan caught the
Okay,
light.
who
Very nice.
who are we talking about? I can't even remember.
Ryan Vandemark.
Oh, yeah. Good for him.
And Osiris Torrance.
Deion Dawkins left the game, came back. He had a wrap on his ankle. He said, we were walking off the field, he's like, they tried to knock me out. He cracks me up.
Because in that last drive, the play before, they were missing both starting tackles in that spot. It was, again, gutsy, gritty, Chiefsy, finding a way to win.
But I would also add, it is a little different. Spencer Brown brings a little bit more of that physicality on that side to get him back because they really did not get any push in the run game.
Nope.
And they kept trying to run. And it did help them use clock. I'll say there's the positive because they would run it. First down runs were awful, which is why I said it was kind of funny that the game basically ends for the Bills with a Josh Allen 24-yard run because it was ugly when they handed the ball off most of the game.
It was a waste of a down.
Yes.
The Bills were putting themselves in 2 plays to get 10 yards.
It was, we were on the sidelines and we were laughing like, here comes another first down run. And they're like, oh, they picked up 2 on that run.
Big game.
We're like, oh, they doubled it. Like it was, James Cook obviously had the 2 touchdowns, which was nice, but it felt like they just couldn't get anything done. And I kind of was at one point like, just change it. Change it up. Figure something out because obviously it was not working.
Chiefs' run defense is really good. They're
Absolutely.
number 1 in the league, and they were
showed.
physical.
Yes.
They play very tough to get anything going against Spags' defense. But the Bills still put 30 points on the board.
So I saw a tweet. I don't want to go Aaron Rodgers because I don't know if this is 100% factual.
Okay.
But it was from a reporter that said the Chiefs hadn't allowed 30 points in a game since Week 4 against Tampa Bay in 2022.
Wow.
So it had been a while since they have allowed 30 points in a game. And again, we're sitting here. The Bills scored 30 points. And I think they're offensively, they were at times disjointed and not in rhythm.
Yeah.
So this is the fifth straight game they've scored 30 points, and they were a little off. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're without Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman and Spencer Brown.
Yeah.
Finding ways to win. It hasn't been pretty. I'm not trying to sit here and say it's all rose-colored, sunglasses and all these things. But man, finding ways to win. This team is. It sucks their championship window's closed. If only that thing was still open, this team could be a real contender.
I love how much you keep receipts.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about the defense, though. Terrell Bernard at the end of that game. He didn't play, obviously, in the playoff game. He had the sack earlier on in the day, and after that first sack of Mahomes, you could just tell he was just like, I wanted to be there. Like, it felt so emotional to see him get up and be like, I wanted this. I wanted to be here.
Yeah, and the play at the end was great. Great for him to get a stat, too.
Yeah.
Because that always helps get some recognition, and he is a Pro Bowl, All-Pro level player.
He's so damn good.
Yeah, he
Just
is.
got to stay in the field.
He does. That's the biggest thing with him, but
He
he's tough.
throws himself around.
He does.
You know who else does?
Taylor Rapp.
Codrington.
Oh, my
Yeah.
gosh,
That
yes.
man is a crash test dummy. Just fearless running
He had
into
the nice return. Yeah.
great returns,
Yeah.
but like as cars whiz past him at 65 miles per hour, Mike's constantly next to you going, get down, just get down.
Okay, I felt like
while
that-
the play's going on.
Yeah.
Mike,
at halftime, I was on the other. Oh my God, I'm pointing. But I was on the wrong side of the tunnel. Like I was trying to cut across the tunnel, so I felt like Frogger of like,
You felt like Codrington
Yeah,
running those kicks back?
hey,
he's gonna break one.
I found the gap.
Couple other quick things. Cam Lewis, outstanding tackle on Kelsey.
Yes.
That could have been a first down.
Yep.
Kelsey had what, 8 yards today?
He had 2 catches for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they did go to
Noah Gray. Yeah.
2
Yeah.
touchdowns and played pretty well. But no, that was a big play because it was 3rd and long. It was like 3rd and 13, and he tripped him up. It just looked like that would be the Kelsey kind of play to get a first down. So
Yeah.
I wanted to mention him. And I actually thought the corners played well. When the Chiefs got him,
Yes.
Yeah.
it was, it was the passes to the tight ends and Xavier Worley.
Yeah.
He was dominant in that one drive. But hey,
Yes.
nobody wants to hear this. We're beating a dead horse here, but second half adjustments.
They did.
No points allowed in the third quarter, just 7 for this entire second half. Put some respect on Sean McDermott and Bobby Babbich's defense.
Yep.
Very
And
true.
long drives that kept the defense off the field,
Yep.
the Bills' defense,
Yep.
because they found a way. How did they play? What would you say? What do you use the term? Chiefsy?
Chiefsy.
Chiefsy.
Yeah,
they
keep
were
saying
Chiefsy.
Chiefsy.
Yeah.
They
it
were
was.
because that's what they have done. They're number 1 in time of possession, and the Bills beat them at that and beat them on the scoreboard.
Taylor Rapp also had an interception early.
Tough. He's a tough dude, man. He throws himself around too, and
Yeah.
he went out with the ankle,
Yeah,
Yeah.
foot.
and then he came
Came
back
back.
foot and came back. Yep.
Ooh, the lights. Sorry, it's
I
windy.
don't know about that, Jim.
I don't know, Jim.
Okay, anyone else?
No, in terms of the players, I just think when you look at where this is now for this team, 6 wins in a row. They've done it in different ways. They've done it with now in this case with guys out, but the other part does feel inevitable. But there's so much now to play for.
Yeah.
Ravens losing, Steelers are tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you see around the conference and what's going on, and it'll be a little break for this team. Awesome timing for them.
It's perfect.
Have their bye.
And for you.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the Niners come in.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like you're sitting there going, and maybe you see Matt Milano on the
Yep.
field when the Niners come here.
Well, to me, such an emotional win.
Have some time.
Have some time to forget it and have Sean McDermott come back in 2 weeks or in a week and say, you guys aren't anything. We haven't earned anything yet. So that there's not that emotional high coming in and playing another game, coming out flat. This is a big help.
Oh, look at that.
Turning off the lights on
We-
us. They're ready for the bye week.
Yes. They're like, get out of here.
But no, I think that's important. They got some guys banged up, have a little bit of extra time. This is the bye week. They've earned it. Some rest. Von Miller said they're going to celebrate maybe 2 nights
Yeah,
instead of the
48
one.
hours, right?
Yeah, but Matt Milano possibly coming back, what that would mean for this defense, moving in the right direction. Now, look, I mean, it's going to be a tough schedule ahead. Niners, obviously Detroit.
Yep.
Like, those are tough games, but where the Bills are at, could you have ever expected that heading into the season?
I thought they would. We all thought they'd be a playoff team. We
Yeah.
thought they'd win the division. This is next level stuff
Absolutely.
now because you're right there. And look, the one thing I really liked what they hit Mahomes in this one. They hit
First
him.
5 plays, Mahomes had 3 dropbacks. He was hit on every single one.
Yeah, one was an interception, one was an incompletion,
Vaughn.
and
One was a sack.
one was a sack.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he tried to throw. So that was good. But not that it's any kind of thing, but when the Chiefs come back, we'll see how it all plays out. They're going to be getting some dudes back too. You always talk about the dudes. They got a few dudes who are out, just like the Bills did. Teams will look different, like that Pacheco. There's guys that
Yep.
can really make plays for them. But they know they're in for it. Mahomes had made some great plays. That one throw he made was great. You know how good they are. Bills were just better. Better in this moment. So
My feeling is that moment in Tommy Boy when the car gets all wrecked and Chris Farley goes, "That was awesome." that's just how I feel like when I walk out of the stadium tonight. That will be my thought of, that was awesome. And he's like, "Sorry about your car."
Is that the open? No, that's the perfect way to
didn't
put
you?
it.
And you were there at the end. Did he say to Mahomes, or Mahomes, like,
Mahomes said, "We'll do it again."
"We'll do it again"? Yeah.
Oh, I did not see that.
Yeah. So why not? I mean, that's what we're all expecting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's
Maybe-
fair.
Maybe it's here.
Maybe
it's
it
not
is
there.
here.
We'll see.
Maybe it's after a week off.
Look at all this.
Oh, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
we don't know. All right,
don't know,
we'll have our You Ask, We Answer on Tuesday. Plenty more coverage coming up.
Oh, yeah, we got coverage all week. We're going to have some special guests
Yeah.
we're working on.
Oh.
Bye week.
I mean, we're a top 10 podcast. So
Bye week.
Honestly, wait, hold on, real quick. How
Houseway.
how?
So just so you guys know, we all see it. And then we're
Someone
like,
tagged us in it 'cause we had
I
no
had
idea.
like my daughter
Yeah.
check
I
because
had
I
friends.
thought since I have Buffalo Plus all over my phone.
Correct.
I wonder, were we getting some special
100
algorithm?
We're
Yeah.
above Ryan Russillo and Club Shay Shay. And I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no way this is accurate.
And Kelsey's, we're coming for you.
Yeah. So
We're
thank
right
Yeah, we're like
behind
a couple. I was like,
I
this
know.
can't be right.
But seriously, thank you. I know we talk about it time and time again, but it means a lot to like, comment, subscribe. Leave us a review if you're on Apple and things like that. The Apple
Spotify,
Podcast.
yeah, all that
this
stuff.
is nuts.
I know. Very cool.
Top 10.
Very cool. Wild. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Again, it really does mean a lot. And we thank you so much for watching and listening to us, because who would imagine? But for Mike,
Hey, look at us.
Look at us.
Hey, look at us.
for Mike Catalana and Dan Fates, I am Jenna Cottrell. Thank you again. Please be sure, again, like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out the audio podcast. Be sure to rate and review that as well. That'll do it for us from this game. But we'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris.